welcome back. Nick and Lex here. Thank you so much for joining me to a new episode of Music with Nick. Today we got a new marathon ready to go. This is sponsored by SIDECAR Dog. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, SIDECAR, for making the video happen. Thanks everyone for watching, for being here. If you like the channel, you know what to do. Maybe give it a like, maybe subscribe, check it out, check out the Patreon, all the good stuff, you know, all the YouTube stuff. But yeah, I'm super excited because this marathon is kind of familiar to me. I mean, there's a lot of bands that I do know. I don't know everything about them, but I've heard at least, you know, 5 or more songs. Not Electric Light Orchestra. I think I've only done like 1 or 2 reactions, but I'm just excited about getting into this. So let's get into the songs. We're gonna start it off with guitar virtuoso guitar. You know, well, I don't know if he's a virtuoso, but he's an amazing guitar player. I love his music and I love his band, which is Mr. Steve Hackett here from Genesis fame. This is Ace of Wands from the Voyage of the Acolyte. Let's see, when is this from? 75. So it is almost, it could be like when he left Genesis. Maybe he could have done this. I'm not sure. I'm just, you know, guessing here. This could have been like an album that he came out with. I'm gonna check it once we get into the music. You know, I don't like to look up anything before. This is not a documentary. This is not a presentation. It's just me reacting to literally some random music, but I think because of the year. Then we're gonna do The Boys in the Band by Gentle Giant. I've grown to love these guys. I've done some 5 or 6 reactions. Really cool stuff. Reminds me a lot of Yes, but let's see. They always surprise me. You know, this is from the album Octopus. Let's see, from 1972. All right. Then Electric Light Orchestra. We have done some ELO. I've compared them a lot to the Beatles and Alexia as well. Great band, beautiful way of orchestrating. Can't wait. Fire on High. This is from Face the Music, 1975. All right, now Mark Knopfler. I've said this before. He's one of my top 3 favorite guitar players. What I would say, you know, as normal guitar players, not the jazz fusion kind, you know, just as normal rock guitar players. I would put him, I would think, yeah, I don't know, very high up there. You know, Mark for me is just like, I think it's David Gilmour, Mark Knopfler, and then, you know, whoever comes next. But yeah, this is from Local Hero. This is called Wild Theme from 1983. I've learned so much from Mark Knopfler. My guitar technique has improved amazing. Just like his phrasing and just the way he plays, his tone is just beautiful. And we're gonna finish it off here with Stationary Traveler, and this is from the band Camel, from the album Stationary Traveler. This is let's see here. I'm gonna be careful with this one because I don't know if this is the one that SIDECAR wanted. I'm gonna have to check the email, and I will right now when I come back. But because there's somebody else involved, Ali Jello something, so I'm gonna look up maybe the song on YouTube. But that's it. That's gonna be the songs that we're gonna do. So stay tuned. I'll be right back. All right, I'm super happy that I looked. Yeah, it's unfortunately not available on Spotify. Doesn't matter. I found it here on YouTube. This is gonna be the last song anyways. But yeah, this was just another version of some artist. It looks, I mean, I guess it's the same song, but I want to play the original, you know. So let's delete this from here. And let's go with Steve Hackett. Here we go. And Ace of Wands. Let's go. Airplane. Here we go. is amazing. So yeah, I was kind of right. I can't I don't, but he was still a member of Genesis when he did this. But it does have this is his first solo album. While he was on a break with Genesis, and it does include Mike Rutherford on the bass and Phil Collins on drums. So basically, like a side project with Genesis members. The only thing he doesn't have Tony on the keyboards. I think I don't know if it's his brother because it says here John Hackett, but I could also it's a brother of Steve. Yeah. Okay. So his brother is on the the ARP synthesizer, bells and flute. Wow. Percy Jones, additional bass. But this is the first album. This is the album opener. This is like the songs that Alexia loves the most. This is like what basically sets up the whole record. So so far, wow, really proggy, really fast stuff. Really, really cool. Really, really nice. I love it. I'm loving it. Let's go back a little bit. There was a little bit of a break here, and my Spotify is so laggy. It's so weird. But let's go. Let's continue. Oh, Marley's in the house. Okay, he's behind me. Let's go. Wow, man. Very, very good. Like this sounds totally different from Genesis. It sounds literally like I said at the beginning, like the virtuoso of Steve Hackett, and this side really came out here, like he's playing faster licks. Not that he doesn't do it in Genesis, but I just haven't heard enough Genesis to call him, that in the band, but him solo, man, this was really like it seemed almost like, when you listen to Liquid Tension, which is a project, the side project from the guys from Dream Theater without the vocals, this is what this sounded like. Very a lot of like ideas, time signatures, changes. The bass was on fire, Mike playing those bass lines, and then and Bill on the drums. Really cool project. I can't wait to listen to more. Very different from like when you compare it to like David Gilmour's first solo album, which are more like psychedelic blues, those bends that he does. He's such a great a string bender, and I've learned so much from him. And I would practice for days just to bend until I would get like up there. So cool. But Steve is literally a guitar hero that I never knew when I started playing. There's a lot of guitar heroes that I kind of like ignored, like Hendrix, Van Halen. A lot of people are baffled by that, but I just grew up in a different era where the guitar players that were played to me were already after Van Halen, after Jimi Hendrix, after Jimmy Page. And Jimmy Page, of course, I've always known because of Led Zeppelin, but as a solo guitar player, I've never really been involved with him. When I started to play guitar, I was reading, music from books from like Yngwie Malmsteen, Steve Vai, Joe Satriani, and it was also kind of like, I don't know. Van Halen was just like, since he wasn't a guitar solo act, I was just not that interested in a band. I know it says Van Halen, but it sounded more like music of a band instead of a guy playing like instrumental guitar. I was just That's what a lot of people don't understand. They're like baffled. Like, you have all these guitars behind you and you don't know Van Halen. I'm like, yeah. It's like, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. I guess uh, you know, it was just the solos were like 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, and I was used to 2 minute solos, 1 minute solos, 3 minute solos sometimes, like these guys, how the crazy they get. Paul Gilbert, you know. So yeah, that's just a little bit about Van Halen because we've been doing Van Halen stuff, and I guess I wanted to mention this to people that do Genesis and Gentle Giant and the Prog stuff and Knopfler, but also are Van Halen fans. But just so you understand where I'm coming from. So this next one, Gentle Giant, this is another band, of course, that is very progressive. I think, like I said, to me, they sound sometimes a little bit like Yes when they get when their stuff is a little bit faster. Just like Steve Hackett's solo stuff here, it just sounded almost, yeah, it didn't sound like the old Genesis when Peter Gabriel was still the singer. This sounded way more proggier and just more like, I don't know, let's write something fast. You know I want to I don't know. I'm gonna play more lead instead of rhythm guitar. Even though I love Steve Hackett's solos on Genesis, early Genesis, just amazing. And for me, also the first guy talking about Van Halen, he started tapping way before Van Halen even like released his first album. So you got to give credit where credit is due. Steve Hackett was tapping on electric guitar. He didn't make it popular, but I guess he did it first. And then we can also talk about the first guy that ever was like in history. There's this video of this Italian guitar player, and I don't know if he was the first guy to tap, but he had like this tapping technique, and it was just amazing. But it's a video from like the 30s or something, 40s. So yeah, tapping I think has been around forever. I know that Van Halen made it popular. I think also Randy Rhoads. But Steve Hackett, I think, was the one to do it first. I don't know. I could be wrong. So let's go with Gentle Giant, The Boys in the Band. Here we go. This is exactly the prog that I love, you know, just crazy ass prog, like time signatures all over the place, different themes out of nothing, like dum 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 dum. I love how he's hitting the strings. You can hear like the pickups being like boom, 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 boom. That's how I play bass. I'm not a bass player, but I just like that smack, you know, on the pickup. And Steve Harris does that from Iron Maiden on purposefully. Dum, 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 dum. I love it, man. It's really, really proggy. Sounds like the stuff that I used to listen to, you know, some years ago, like Spastic Inc., you know, Spiral Architect, just really weird stuff. Watchtower, if you've ever heard the band, just amazing, like amazing. I love this. This is very, very good. I feel like this pressure from Marley. I think he needs to go out. I think I'm gonna stop the video after this song, and you won't even notice. But I think I have to take him. Um, Great stuff. Just very progressive. Very. I think even more than. Well, I can't say more than Yes. I mean, Yes are pretty wild. You know, when they get wild, then it's pretty chaotic, which I love. Don't get me wrong. So let's continue. It's really good. I love that this is an instrumental so far, an instrumental, marathon, and I already know what I might add to this. But let's see. Let's continue. Wow. Cool, beautiful, just great, like passages. You know, that kind of stuff is just so hard to play and to keep it in time and to put it all together. It's crazy stuff, you know, to write on paper and then say, okay, we're going to play this and then we're going to do and change it up completely. Kudos to the bass player and the piano. That solo right there, that was freaking amazing. That was more like jazz fusion, uh, more than rock music, you know, beautifully played. But those ideas, like everyone is just on fire here. I love it. Really, really cool. Gentle Giant, this sounded more like ELP to me, you know. Uh, I would say ELP get the craziest when it comes to, you know, building progressive, like, you know, weird, just like plain weird music that I adore and that the prog heads just love, you know. I think Genesis have some really amazing moments, but it's more about more classical music, you know, with different ideas and lengthy parts. Yes, I don't know. Yes can get a little bit crazy, but ELP I think take, the win when it comes to just writing really out, like music that's really out there with with lines that are really complex. Maybe not really impossible to play, but just like it's not your typical, music. It's just like music for the prog head. So I appreciate that. I think Gentle Giant is right up there with ELP when it comes to being a little bit more out there, writing against the rules, music that's a little bit more thought provoking and maybe not as liked by the general, audience. Maybe a person that likes, just like straight up rock, let's say, uh, the Beatles, right? Maybe this is a little bit too far out there, or a little bit too far out there. Somebody who likes Led Zeppelin might say, "Ooh, this is like, I don't know, it's a little weird." But then again, our prog heads, we love this stuff. So points for Gentle Giant. So we're gonna continue with Electric Light Orchestra. I will take Marley for a walk real quick. You won't even notice. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. So, like I said, Electric Light Orchestra is next. Fire on High. Let's go. And Marley is cool. He's not gonna interrupt the video anymore. So let's go. Here we go. Ooh, okay. Wow, so far so good. I mean, so different from what I've heard of Electric Light Orchestra. This is totally different. This is totally um I love the way it started with the, almost it seemed a little eerie there, a little bit of, you know, reverse, lyrics, I guess, just to give it that eerie vibe. I know it's just fun. But then I love how it became very classical. I was even thinking of like maybe playing some Yngwie Malmsteen, but I don't know. But and then now it completely changed again. I love this. Very proggy ELO, totally different. Um, Very cool. Thank you so much. And I think, and I was just talking on the phone when I walked Marley to Alexia about these first two songs, how good they were, and I was like, I think Sidecar is going for an instrumental Prog marathon. So I'm very, very happy with this. Super cool. Thank you. So good. Wow. Wow, man, this song. Oof. Really, really cool. All this section it had violin, improvisation, reminded me of Jean-Luc Ponty, of course. I love the acoustic guitar, strumming, the rhythm there, that theme, like just like really, really cool keyboards. Um, then the choruses in the back, really, really cool, man. Oh, totally different from what I've heard before. Seemed like a much darker toned ELO, which by for me is even better. I love the happy ELO, and even they call it like the happiest um uh music, or maybe one song is like the happiest music on the planet, and there's a lot of reactors that lose their, you know, they're cool and they just like start screaming. So, it was just awesome, But this was really cool. Like just the musical aspect of it was a lot of classical music, a lot of epic, music going on there. Just very cool variety of sections, very progressive. So okay, so now time for, like I said, Mark Knopfler for me is a huge inspiration, but I have to say, he is like I have like three different categories of guitar players that I listen to. There's, well, let's say four. So there's one category like the rock guitar player, right? The rock band, right? So I would say David Gilmour, Mark Knopfler, and then I would go with, maybe, I don't know, like JJ Cale. I love JJ Cale. Much more than Eric Clapton, Eric Johnson. But Eric Johnson, like that's already like I would put in the instrumental guitar player. So there's like the rock band, the like I would say Mark Knopfler is a rock guitar player, or blues. He uses a lot of blues scales and all that stuff. But I have them in like this category in my head. I have my jazz fusion players. My Aldi Meola, Alan Holdsworth, Scott Henderson, all those guys, Brett Garsett, Greg Howe. And I can compare those to, let's say, Paul Gilbert, Yngwie Malmsteen, Richie Blackmore. You can't. And again, Richie Blackmore I would put in like a category. He's a band player. So there's all these categories in my head. So that's why I don't mix and match, and you can't compare Van Halen to like Alan Holdsworth. Like you can't. It's a different style. It's a different type of music. So that's what I consider Mark Knopfler is more like a guitar player that is in the realm of possible, because you can't really imitate Brett Garsett or Alan Holdsworth. There's a lot of people that play like Van Halen. There's a lot of people who play like Yngwie Malmsteen. There's a lot of people who can play like Steve Vai. It's still in the realm of possibility. There's not a lot of players who can imitate Aldi Meola. I guess, yes, that's easier, but an Alan Holdsworth, that's almost impossible. That's like playing like John Coltrane, on the sax. I mean, and there's people that can do it, but that's how I visualize my guitar players: instrumental guitar players, rock guitar players, jazz fusion players, like that. So let's listen to some Mark Knopfler, Wild Theme, from Local Hero. And this is from the 80s, 1983. So 5 years after my favorite album of Dire Straits. Let's go. You know, he does that. You know, he just builds off the chord. He's just like, you know. You see, like, I don't know, like, I love Mark Knopfler for his simplicity, but yet it's so complex and it's just beautiful. The way he played that theme around these chord progressions was just magical. He's a true master. And when he plays acoustic or electric, it doesn't matter. It's just mind boggling. So I just wanted to grab the guitar and, you know, see what would come out if I think, you know, a little bit like Mark did in this theme, you know. I mean, he's just such a versatile player, but even on the acoustic, he sounds just like him. Amazing. All right, so here we are again. Now, Marley, what do you want from me? Okay, so this is Camel, Stationary Traveler. So this is from YouTube. We're gonna pull the audio from here. Let's get into some Camel. Here we go. Wow. That was beautiful. That is exactly what I love a guitar solo to be, man, this was great. There's a great image of the Camel stationary travel. I think is in Germany because it says like Wäsche, Uniformen, and Kleider, all the stuff. Man, this was a beautiful piece of music. The guitar solo, very, very dramatic and beautiful choice of notes. The comment section here, because this is on YouTube, is just like there's people there. It's like I have no words to describe how amazing this is, and it was really beautifully played. It reminded me of like literally like yeah, like a solo by David Gilmour, a little bit more fast paced. Um, Maybe Marillion stuff like that. Beautifully done. Um, so this marathon has just been wonderful. Every song after the other. Um, it's just gold. Thank you so much, Sidecar. So I'm gonna choose something. I'm literally like between like Marty Friedman, Steve Vai, Yngwie Malmsteen, because now those guys are not progressive, but I don't know if I should do something proggy or guitar, but I'll come up with something. Just to add a little bit, add something to this marathon. This was wonderful. But I'll take a little break and I'll add something. All right. So this took a long time to decide. I'm gonna do "Evil Eye" by Yngwie Malmsteen, and he used to play this. He used to play this song with Alcatraz, but he put it on his first album. So this is an instrumental. It has a lot of classical passages. It has a lot of breaks, and it has a lot of very beautiful slow playing, amazing fast playing. So it's a little bit of a showcase of what he can do. And this is when he was, I think, in his best, state. Like this is the album I love the most. This one and the second. I think the first three, and after that, I don't know. But if you don't know Yngwie Malmsteen, he's a guitar player from Sweden, and I guess anybody knows Yngwie Malmsteen. Anybody who plays guitar, I know that I should like know Van Halen because I play guitar, but that's the guy that pretty much made me pick up the guitar. That's like when I heard this guy play, I was like, that's what I want to do. Um, that's how I want to play. So I'm gonna play this. This is unfortunately not on Spotify. It's on YouTube. There's a live version, but this one is cleaner and it's just so good. So enjoy. This is an instrumental from Rising Force, 1981. So yeah, enjoy. It's crazy that people were playing like this guitar like that already in the early 80s. So yeah, he was like obviously he was inspired by Jimi Hendrix and to pick up the guitar, but ultimately what got him was Richie Blackmore and Paganini. Paganini was his number one inspiration. Bach, Beethoven, and all those guys. So that's why it's very neoclassical. But yeah, if you haven't heard them, enjoy. This is a really cool piece of music, and it really took me like 20 minutes to decide, but I think this is a good thing to add on instrumental. And if you don't know this guy, you'll appreciate this. So let's go. So there you go. So I'm gonna see this guy live in 2 days. I'm super excited. That's why I also went with him. I'm sure he's gonna play this live, and it's gonna be amazing to see. Um, but yeah, I am looking at it literally right here. It says Denver Yngwie Malmsteen, Wednesday 8 p.m. at the Oriental. If you like the channel, if you see this before, check it out. Glenn Hughes is gonna be there playing the 50th anniversary of Burn of Deep Purple. It's gonna be amazing. And this is, yeah, like I said, this is the guy that I, you know, heard before hearing Van Halen. So basically, when I heard Eruption, I was like, wow, this is amazing. But I'd already heard this, which is, I think, taking it to the next level. And I know it's fast. I know there's a lot of notes, there's a lot to process, but it's just very clean. It's very classical. And I grew up with this music on violin. I listened to a lot of Paganini, I listened to a lot of Mozart, Beethoven, Bach. So this was just, it resonated with me on such a different level than other guitar players. So yeah, to this day, I'm still practicing stuff from him, and yes, it becomes a little bit repetitive, but it's still amazing to see and to hear. And on this album, which is his first album, he was only 18 years old. I mean, to play like that is just, it was, this guy was on a different level. So I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much again, Sidecar, for this awesome marathon. All these songs were incredibly beautiful. I hope I added something new to the table for you guys that don't know Yngwie Malmsteen. If you do know him, I hope you enjoyed, going back to this piece, one of his first, this was literally, uh, he had already played it live before he even recorded it here. So it's an old stuff, old tune. So thank you again so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know in the comment section, and I'll see you in the next one.